Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Good.
Okay, good, good. How was your day today?
Really good.
Alrighty. So we are. Do you want to get started now?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself for everybody, please?
My name is Kristen Parcus, and um, I'm a school bus driver and a teacher's aide. Um, and I'm a huge Tupac fan, and I've got four beautiful children.
Awesome, awesome. So, how long have you been a Tupac fan?
Since he came out in 91, well, I knew him not as good, like when he was with Digital Underground, but
Yeah.
I got really into him when he came out, like when he made Brenda's Got a Baby.
Oh yeah.
That's when I really got into him because I had my first son when I was 15.
Oh wow. That's crazy because I did too.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My first daughter. Yeah. When I was 15. Yeah. She was born when I was 15. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. So is that why you got into Tupac because of that beautiful song that he made, Brenda's Got a Baby?
Um, I wouldn't say that that's the only reason why I got into him, but that's like when I really started, paying more attention to him. But as I watched him through his career, um, I just fell in love with him more and more.
Oh, okay, okay. Did you ever meet him?
Because, like, no,
Oh, okay.
because like when he made Keep Your Head Up, I had a lot of um, drama, baby daddy drama with my kids and stuff that
Yeah.
with their dads. And so, Keep Your Head Up would get me through. I would listen. I would sit and wait for that video to come on because they didn't have stuff like they do now where we could just go on YouTube and watch it. You'd have to watch it like on MTV or BET or So I would wait for it to come on and I would watch it. Plus, I had the tape. So
Yeah, yeah. I do remember those good old days when you had to either wait till it comes on TV or till it comes on the radio so you could record it on the tape.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Well,
those
I,
days.
I bought I bought the tape, but I mean, like, you had to watch the video on the TV, like when it was on, because it wasn't until later when you had like the VCR, like to record it and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, if they did, I didn't have one then. Maybe I couldn't afford one. I don't know, but I don't remember. But I just know that you had to watch it. You had to watch it when it came on.
Yeah,
When did VCRs come out? I don't remember, but I just know I didn't have one at the time.
yeah. I'm not sure when they came out, but I'm thinking they might have been out in '91, but I'm not sure. I'm not
Yeah,
100%
I
sure.
just know I had to wait for it to come on.
Yeah, yeah. I probably did too. But yeah. I mean, I guess everybody has kind of a different story, on how they got into him, but it's usually always with struggle because he did rap a lot about that. What is your favorite Tupac song? Is it one of those two?
Um, my block. I love my block. I play
Mm,
it all the time.
mm. Yeah, that's a really good song. Is that no? I thought that's not the feature with Scarface, right? The one who features Scarface is Smile, I believe.
Yeah, smile.
Okay, okay. So I heard that you're doing a lot of positive stuff for the community. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you're doing?
Um, Me and Northside Outlaw, we started an organization called Spark the Brain. Um, I talked to him back in December, and he was saying that we should do something, like he was talking about like doing something, like one time. And I said we should do it all the time. It should just be, like one time we should start something in Pocket Afeni's honor, and we should do it all the time. It should be, and then it was really hard for us to pick a name. We had to pick something, and we wanted something that would, like, just stick out. So we decided on Spark the Brain. We didn't want his name in it. We wanted it just to be, like Spark the Brain. That's perfect. That's what we felt like was perfect. So anyway, we decided that we would start it, and I got permission from his family to do it, and we started Spark the Brain. What we do is we pick a different organization every year and we raise money. And this year we did it for autistic children and their families in Newark, New Jersey. It's called Nassan's Place. And I just flew down there October 10th, and we presented a check for $2,500.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's amazing. So you guys help a lot of different kinds of organizations, right?
We want to do a different one every year. I still want to help Nadine. Nadine is Nassan's mom. He's an autistic 15-year-old. You can go on my page and you can see the pictures of him. Okay. Nadine helps a lot of families. She's got 200 families that she services that have autism. And she doesn't just help the one child with autism. She helps the whole family. Like when she did her school supply drive, she didn't just give book bags and school supplies just to the autistic child. She gave it to all the children in the family. So they do like Mother's Day brunches, Father's Day brunches. They do Christmas parties. Once or twice a month, they have sensory friendly movies, for autistic children. They're doing stuff all the time. They have basketball camps, swimming. She has so much stuff. Like, I wish I could do more for her because she's got so many people to service, but there's only, so much that we can do. And then this year we're doing the Read to Record program for Kalon. And Kalon has the Read to Record program. So we're going to be raising money for him this year for his Read to Record program, where a person reads a book. Yeah. And after they read the book, then they write a report on it, and they get to record with Kalon in his studio. There's a school in Oakland called The Rose That Grew from Concrete. Yeah. We want to do that one. We want to raise money for them. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Erica Ford. She's got the Life Camp. It's in Queens, and it's after people are affected by like gun violence, they come in, they pick up the pieces after the gun violence, and she's got an amazing organization. I want to help that organization, stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that I want to raise money for and give to.
Oh, wow. Are you guys doing anything else, or is this the only thing you guys, the only project you guys have right now, or that you have right now?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Is that the only project that you have right now at the moment, or are you doing other stuff? Are you branching out, doing other things?
Do you mean as far as charity, or what
anything, do you? Just anything. Any different projects?
I always help Kalon with what he's got going on, and I've helped William Lassane with his Pacabelli clothing line. Oh, cool. We put that on the back burner right now. We've got so much going on. We've got other projects in the works, and he's working on a web series called Joint TV, covering prison reform.
Oh, wow.
And the effects that it has on families. Yeah. So he's working on that. He's got a lot going on. He's a very good friend of mine, and I always try to help him with his projects. I do interviews. I interview people. I've interviewed Angie Thomas, Fatal, Gonzo, Risky, William Lassane, Kendrick Lassane, and H. Ryder. I do a lot of different things. I've got a lot of irons in the fire. I stay very busy.
Yeah, well, that's good. So you actually did meet and speak to Hussein Fatal, rest in peace?
Yes, I met him twice. Oh, wow. I met him June 16th of 2012. He was in Chicago. The other outlaws were out of the country, and he couldn't go for some reason. Something about his passport or something. He
Yeah.
couldn't go. So he was in Chicago. And so I called the promoter for the show and I asked her if it was possible if I could meet and interview him. And he said, yeah. So me and my son, my oldest son, Jordan, and my cousin Amethyst, we went and met him and I interviewed him. And that was the first time that I met him. He was really cool. We hung out with him at least an hour. We hung out with him for a while and I talked to him and I interviewed him. And he was really nice, really cool. He was very good to his fans, very good to his fans, very nice. And then we went to the party that they had. It was Pac's birthday that day.
Yeah.
And one thing that I'll never forget about that day, I'm not a drinker. I've never been a drinker. And he had a thing of Hennessy. And he said, do you want a drink with me? And I said, no, thank you. And my cousin, she drank with him. But I have always regretted that, especially since he passed. I wish that I would have drank with him. Yeah. So I've always regretted that I told him no, thank you.
Oh wow! What did you feel when you heard he passed, and where were you?
I was at work. I was at my security guard job. I worked. That was in the summer. It may not have been, I don't remember what day that was on, if it was a weekend, I don't remember, but I know I was at my security guard job and it was in the summer. So with it being in the summer, I could have been there during the week. I don't remember what day it was. I was sitting in the guard shack when I got the phone call that he had passed away. And I was just shocked. I was just very, very shocked that I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And I called one of my friends and I told her and she was just screaming. So it was just very, very, very shocking.
Yeah, it was definitely a big loss to the hip hop community and the community in general. I mean, to everybody.
Yeah, I met him again. I seen him again. Let me see, when was it? I went to St. Louis. I think it was the 14th of June, 2014. I think it was the 14th. I'm not sure, but it was a Pac, birthday celebration, even though it wasn't on the actual day. And that time I got to take a lot more pictures with him. And I did this little clip because the last day I saw him, it was Father's Day. So I asked him to, give a Father's Day shout out to the fathers. And he did that. And a lot of people have seen that. And it's funny because he had on a Doors shirt. And I was like, you like the Doors? And he was like, yeah, so he made a little video. You can see it on my Instagram page.
Oh, okay. That's crazy. I didn't know that about him.
The last time I saw him, he was sitting on a bench. And he just had a big smile on his face. He was just in a really good mood and he was really happy. And that was Father's Day of 2014, so a year before he passed. And whenever I think of him, I always think of him sitting on that bench. He was in a good mood that day. He was really happy. And he was just sitting there with this big smile. So whenever I think of him, I always think of him sitting there that big grin on his face. He was in a really good mood.
Well, that's a nice way to remember him. So how do you when you heard that what happened to Tupac on September 7th, 1996, where were you and how did you feel about that?
I heard it the next day because that would have been really late here in Chicago because Vegas is 2 hours behind. So I heard it the next morning. I heard it on MTV News that he had been shot. And I was just, I was thinking, he'd been shot before, like everybody else. I just figured he'd pull through,
Yeah.
So I just prayed for him.
Yeah. What did you think when you heard that he passed?
Well, when he passed, I had just had my daughter's first birthday party, and she was 1. She had just started walking around and stuff, and that was the next morning again. Or no, I don't know what time it was. I don't know. I just remember that it was Tabitha Sorensen on MTV News. You know, when they would do the MTV News,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know what time of the day it was. I just remember Jasmine. She was one. She was walking around, and they said that Pac had died, and I started crying, and it scared my daughter, and she started crying, so I had to pick her up and hug her,
Oh
because
wow.
me, like, I don't know if I like screamed out or whatever, but I started to cry, and so she started to cry, so I had to pick her up and hold her,
Yeah.
because we had just had her first birthday party.
Oh wow. Yeah, that was it was a terrible moment. I mean, because he was like Superman, you know, to a lot of people. Because back in the day, what I can remember is, I don't know if it's the same thing for the youngsters now, you know, for the the teenagers and stuff like that. But when I was really young, Tupac and the rappers in general were like superheroes to us, and especially Tupac because he couldn't get hurt. Nobody can hurt him. That's what we thought, that nobody can get to him, nobody can hurt him. He can be shot. He can go to jail and come back out. So it was a terrible loss to a lot of people. And it definitely sparked up a lot of conspiracies. Some people think this person did it. Some people think that person did it. Some people think he's alive. There's just a lot of conspiracies that are out there right now.
Well, what's really sad is that, when you think about it, he was at the height of his career,
Yeah.
and he was the greatest rapper, at that time, and to me, he always will be. He'll always be the greatest of all time. To me, there'll never be anybody on his level. And when I hear these rappers now, oh, I'm the new Tupac. You ain't the new shit. As far as, can I cuss? I'm
Of
sorry. Is it
course,
okay if
yes,
I cuss?
yes. Go ahead
Okay.
and cuss.
You ain't the new shit. You ain't never gonna be on his level. And I love T.I., and I know he's compared himself to Pac, but it's like, I love you, T.I. You're a great rapper, but please don't embarrass yourself and say that you're gonna ever be on his level, because you're never gonna be nowhere near
Oh my
Pac's level.
God,
So just
never.
please stop it. Just stop it.
Yeah.
I love you, T.I., but don't do that, because he's like perfection to me. There's nobody like Pac. Like Jada said, there's no comparison. I
Mm-mm.
love Jada. They had such a beautiful relationship, and I love their friendship that they had. And she said there's no comparison. So I think that a lot of these people now, these newer rappers, they just say Pac's name because they need some attention, because I don't listen to them. I don't know who they are. I wouldn't know them if they walked past me. My kids laugh at me because, like, if they have the radio on, I have to say, like, who is this? I wouldn't know them if they walked right past me right now, so I'm very much still into the 90s hip hop and rap. That's pretty much all I have on my phone. I do have some Prince and some Michael Jackson because I love them too, but
Yeah.
nothing like, like Pac. Like, I don't love any of them. All of them together couldn't be Pac to me, so I have a lot of 90s music in my phone, and I'm just stuck in the 90s. I just wish we could go back,
Oh
because
God.
this shit now, 2019, is just whack as hell.
Oh God. Yeah. I'm right there with you on that one. I wish I can go back to. It was the best decade, I believe, and just everything was better for some reason. I don't know. It's crazy. Were you ever a Notorious B.I.G. fan?
Um, my daughter's father listened to him, and after everything that happened, I have a hard time looking at him, listening to him. It's just, I feel like I feel like if I listen to anything or like I watch anything, I feel like I'm betraying Pac. That's how I feel inside.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me. Like, people tell me not to do that and like get over it and stuff. What really got me, besides the fact what happened with Pac, um, I saw the Notorious movie, and they say it's based on a true story. So I just remember that he sold crack to a pregnant woman because they
Yeah.
said don't sell crack to her
Yeah.
because she's pregnant. And he said, I ain't no fucking social worker. And he sold her the crack.
Yeah.
And to me, that isn't a man to sell to a pregnant woman, because you're not only hurting her, you're hurting that unborn baby.
Yeah.
So on a personal level, besides him being big, as a man selling crack to a pregnant woman, that wasn't cool to me. And that sticks in my head. Shit sticks in my head, and it pops up, you know. So
Yeah.
I just don't feel like, as a man, that's a good man to sell crack to a pregnant woman. So besides the whole Pac shit, I can't get past that, and I can't get past what happened with Pac, because I do believe that he had knowledge of what was going to happen to Pac. So
You mean in 94 or 96?
94.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I guess. You know, I mean, everybody has a different opinion on that. Whether he had knowledge or he tried to warn Tupac. At the end of the day, you know, Tupac was a young guy, very hard-headed, and very wild. So, you know, allegedly, supposedly, Biggie said, hey, look, that guy is no good, man. And Pac, you know, being who he is, he didn't listen, and whatever happened. Then there's another story that he knew what was going to happen, and even though he warned him, he still should have, you know, told him, look, they might shoot you. And then there's people that think he didn't know anything. So, I mean, I guess only
I
he
don't
knows
know.
the truth, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. But like I said, you know, it would have been very interesting to see if they both had lived, what would have happened if they could have come back as friends.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. And in my opinion, I think it would have happened when, you know, eventually. I don't know about friends because I don't know about friends in my opinion because he was bragging about sleeping with his wife. That's kind of a personal thing there, but who knows? You know, every
And I
man's
think
different.
he did.
Oh,
I think he did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he
I
did.
think he did.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I don't think he would have said it if he didn't.
No.
So who do you think is responsible for the shooting of 96 for Tupac?
What was his name? DeAndre. What was his name?
Orlando
the other one in the
Anderson?
next. No, not Orlando.
Oh, so you think it was DeAndre Smith?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was either him or it was Orlando, but I think it was DeAndre because they said it was a fat arm that came out of the back of the Cadillac. So if it was the fat arm, then that had to be DeAndre.
Yeah. That's true. That's
because Orlando had a skinny arm and DeAndre had the fat arm. So
yeah. Did you hear that? Did you hear what's coming out now? They say that when the Cadillac pulled up to Tupac, they actually tried to speak to him first, and Tupac went for a gun that they had in a stash spot, and that's where they shot.
I saw that they said that he pulled that out, and then he started it. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what?
There was no gun found in the car, though. There wasn't a gun.
Well, because they had a stash spot, and you know, I always wondered after they shot him, why did Suge take off like that? And allegedly, they said he took off like that to put the guns back in the stash spot. Yeah. And some people say that they never got it out, but
yeah. I don't know. Like, he's gone, so I guess it doesn't. You know, I don't really think too much about that because it's like they were there to hunt him down anyway. So whether Pac had a gun or not, that was their mission to shoot him. So you know what I mean?
We don't know if that's true, but I mean, I guess we'll never know. You know?
Yeah. But they say that was their mission to, you know.
Yeah. Which it probably was. It probably was. You're probably right on that one. But yeah, I mean, it all sucks. Either way, Tupac is still always gonna be, you know, number one in my book, and I think in a lot of people's books and stuff. But yeah,
to me, it's kind of irrelevant if Pac had a gun or not because Orlando was on a mission to kill him or, you know, shoot him up. So,
yeah.
it doesn't matter if Pac had one or not. I wish he had been able to shoot him off to get him, that hadn't happened. But,
Yeah.
you know, whether
Yeah.
he had one or not, I really don't think it's really relevant because, he's the one that lost his life. So,
Yeah. Very, very, very true. Yeah. So what about Biggie? What do you think happened there?
I think Suge did it. Suge hired somebody. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yep. That a lot of people think that, and it makes the more sense, right? Makes sense. So.
Well, who else would have done it?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I don't know. That Suge is the one to me that makes the most sense. So. I'm right there with you on board on that one, I believe. Yeah.
I think that the Poochie theory makes the most sense.
Oh yeah, Mr. Caden's theory.
Yeah, Poochie, the one that was killed on his motorcycle.
Yeah. Yep. Poochie. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I actually interviewed Greg Kading as well, and so big shout out to Greg Kading. Yeah, I think that just like you think, the Poochie theory just makes perfect sense. You know, just by the way everything played out and things. But yeah, it's sad that we had to lose both of those guys. You know, whether you like Biggie or not, it's still sad that we lost both.
Well, whether I like him or not, I don't wish him to be dead.
Of
You
course
know,
not. Yeah.
I don't have to support his music.
Of
You
course
know,
not.
but and I don't have to watch him or whatever. But I would never wish death upon anybody. You know, he had two beautiful children that he left behind that needed their dad. You know, so I don't wish that on anybody. But
Yeah.
it's a very sad situation because they both had so much potential and so much more to do.
Yeah. Yep, I agree 100% on that. Whether people like Pac or not, whether people like Biggie, is still sad, and wish it would never happen because they are the kings of hip hop. To some people, it's
Their
Tupac, to
their
some people, it's
deaths, yeah, their deaths really changed the whole rap game.
Oh
Their
yeah,
deaths greatly changed the rap game.
yeah. How do you think it changed it?
It went downhill and it sucks now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. I can agree on a lot of. Yeah, I can agree with that in a lot of ways. Yeah. It's not the same. I can agree with you on that. It's not the same. Did you ever? Were you ever a fan of Nipsey Hussle?
That song, the last time that I checked,
Yeah.
I knew that song. I didn't know him very well. I do remember seeing him slap that guy at the BET Awards. I thought that was pretty funny. It reminded me of Pac. I said, Pac would have done that too. I think that Nipsey was a great man and that he did do a lot, for his community. But I don't like when people compare him to Pac, and I don't like when they say that he did a lot more than Pac, because Pac was only 25.
Yeah.
And Nipsey, what was he, 32 or 33, something like that?
Something like that. Yeah.
He lived longer and he had a lot more time to do more. Pac did a lot. Pac did a lot that a lot of people didn't see. Pac, like one example is Gonzo. Gonzo's mom had an addiction, and Pac gave Sharitha thousands of dollars because Gonzo and his mom, they didn't have the money for her to go to rehab. So Pac put the money in an envelope. It was thousands of dollars. It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And he put it in an envelope and he gave it to Sharitha because he didn't want to embarrass Gonzo, And he said, give this to Gonzo. This is for his mother for rehab. Not only did he pay for the whole thing of rehab, he paid for all like the clothes and stuff and like whatever you need when you're there. He made sure she had enough for everything while she was there. It covered it all.
Yeah.
And he did stuff like that all the time. He was always giving out money to homeless people and stuff. And he was very influential with his music, everything that he did, so he was on a higher level in that way. So I don't like them comparing Nipsey and saying Nipsey did more for his people. I don't like that at all. Not to say that Nipsey wasn't a good man, but don't knock Pac and make Pac look like he didn't do shit. We know that Pac, he influences people. He's been dead for 23 years and he's still influencing people. So
Exactly.
don't knock Pac trying to make Nipsey look better. And I'm not trying to knock Nipsey either. I'm just saying I don't like when they, oh, well, Nipsey was better than Pac and Nipsey did more for his community, because Pac is still doing now,
Yeah.
23 years after his death.
Yeah, 100. That's true. That's very true. And Tupac did a lot of stuff. Like just like you said, and I agree. Behind the scene, he also helped Frank Alexander, one of his family members, that was to make a wish.
Yeah, the niece. He had her come down because Janet didn't. Janet canceled. I think she canceled or she didn't show up or whatever.
Yeah.
And so Frank's niece, the family called and said, that Janet didn't pull through. So Pac sent for them, got them down there and spent I don't know, like a weekend with them or whatever. But I mean, he just showered them. And, he had them in the studio. Yeah, he was always doing stuff, So he was always doing stuff and he wasn't bragging about it. And Afeni did too. Afeni did a lot for the community, like with the Panthers. And when you talk about Pac, you have to talk about where he came from and what his mother was, because he wouldn't be the man that he was if it wasn't for Afeni. And I just have the utmost love and respect for her. I met her. She was a beautiful person. I wish I could be half the woman that she was. I've read books about her. And Jamal Joseph, he was a Panther. He was part of the Panther 21. He was the youngest one. I think I've got the book right here. I think it was called Baby Panther. But he talked about how when they were serving breakfast for the breakfast program to the kids in the neighborhood, how a cop came down there and they were like sweeping up, and Afeni went right up to him. She's like, "Can I help you?" And he was just so dumbfounded that she was taking up for herself and standing up for herself. And she's like, "If you don't need anything, I gotta clean up here." She was, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So he was just so flabbergasted. He left. She was, who does that? You know what I mean? For her to do that in the 60s, she was a strong woman, a very strong woman. So she was very courageous, and I just have the utmost love and respect for her.
Yeah, that's true. And she also fought herself out of jail too, right? She was pregnant.
314 years she was facing, something like that.
Jesus.
Yeah, she defended herself. She was her own attorney. She defended herself and got herself off of the bogus ass charges. Yeah, she was pregnant with Pac in prison. She got bailed out by these church people. They bailed her out, but then they revoked her bail or something and put her back in. That's when she was pregnant with Pac.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and she got out shortly before he was born.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's crazy, man. That's a very strong person right there. I mean, woman and man, that's strong. Because most people would be depressed in that situation and wouldn't even have the strength to even think about, or would be too afraid to defend themselves.
She fought to get an egg and a glass of milk for her baby. She fought to get that so she could have an egg and a glass of milk every day, to nourish Pac while she was in prison or jail. It was prison. It was jail.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's crazy. That's real crazy. Yeah. So you do you have any projects in the future that are coming out that you want to tell the people about?
We've got some things in the works. Kendrick Lasane is working on a 5-series documentary. I'm helping him with that. Me and his brother Billy, we got some stuff going on. I can't really divulge that right now. We want to help Matulu as well. Pac's Pac's father. I call him his father, not his stepfather,
Yeah.
because he was more of a father to him than anybody else was. I want to, encourage people to write letters to him, and anything he needs. We got to remember and take care of him too, because he was, a father figure to Pac. So
Yeah.
we're doing stuff like that. Let me see what else do I have on my notes here. I don't know if I told you about the Pacavelli. Me and Billy had the Pacavelli clothes. We've got that on the back burner temporarily while we get some of this other stuff done. He's just really, working on a lot of stuff, and we'll talk more about that next year when we get that done. And I'm still doing interviews and stuff like that. And I did get to meet Afeni. I met her at Pac's 40th birthday celebration in Atlanta. She was such an amazing person. And I met her at the Tupac Shakur Foundation that was in Stone Mountain. I took my kids down there to go to the 40th birthday celebration, and Aunt Glo was in there. She was standing there, and I didn't think that I would meet them and see them. I just thought I was going to see the foundation, and Aunt Glo was standing there, and I knew her from the books and the pictures, and I was hitting my daughter on the shoulder, and I was like, "That's Aunt Glo, that's Aunt Glo," and she was laughing. And I said, "Is Afeni here?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, "She's doing an interview." She said, "I'll go get her in a few minutes." So she said, "Look around and stuff." So we were looking around, and Afeni came up, and she gave us all a hug. And I made sure that I told her that I knew that her son had a good heart and that he was greatly misunderstood. And she asked me where we were from, and I told her we were from the Chicagoland area. And she said, "You guys came all the way down here just for this?" And I said, "Of course." I said, "Everybody should." And she cried a little bit, and I told her, "Don't cry." And she said they were happy tears. So
That's good.
Yeah, she was just a beautiful person. I was so honored to meet her, and she always remembered me. So I've been very blessed. I've met quite a few people. I've met Mopreem, Set. I met Nob and Edie, Napoleon. I've met a lot of people. I've just been very, very blessed.
Yeah. Is a Tupac's sister and Edie Amin still together?
Edie and Set?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, they're not still together.
Okay, I was just wondering. Okay. Well, that's cool, man. That's cool. Do you have any where people can reach you, if they want to ask you questions or just see what you're up to?
My Facebook and my Instagram, it's Kristen Parcus. It's KristenParcus. And my Spark the Brain, it's Spark the Brain. It's on Instagram. It's just Spark the Brain, just like how it's spelled. And then we have one on Facebook as well.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for doing the interview. It was an honor to speak to you. Like I told you, before we did the interview, I've been wanting to do this. Even though because I had to work, but I'm working from home tonight because it's supposed to be my day off. But I gotta get some stuff. I gotta get a little bit ahead of myself. And
hey, I know how you feel because I work 70 hours a week, so I know how you feel.
Oh yeah.
What kind of work do you do?
Well, me and my wife have our own business, and it's like a cleaning business where we stock cleaning supplies. For companies, restaurants, and things of that nature.
You sound like Kalon doing all that work. So yeah, I love Kalon to death.
Oh yeah, Kalon. Big shout out to Kalon. Yeah, we talk all the time. He's a good friend of mine. Always has positive stuff to say, and I love talking to him. And he's very talented. Oh my God, he can rap, bro. Jesus Christ.
I've done a couple songs with him where I've talked on his songs.
Oh, really?
I've done some music with him. Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. We need to check that out. Do you know what the name of them
are? Us Against the World.
Okay, I'm gonna listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Us Against the World. I'm on 2 songs of his, but that one, I can call him and just talk to him and about I could talk to him about a tomato and he could go make a whole song about a tomato and it'll be dope as hell.
Oh my
It's like
God.
I've called him numerous times and talked to him, and the next thing I know he's got the whole damn song about what I was talking about.
Yeah.
He's done that numerous times. Or he can even go in there and he can do it like while we're talking. That's how we did Us Against the World, because we were talking and he had me say some stuff like I talked about having my son at 15, and then I'm on the intro and the outro of that song Us Against the World. So yeah, he's amazing. I just love him to death.
Oh wow. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. He's so freaking talented. I told him he should get on. I mean, he doesn't need it, but I just want to see him just so he can win. He should get on this new show that came out on Netflix called Rhythm and Flow. I don't know if you ever seen it, but
No, I haven't.
yeah, it one of the judges is Tip, and then Cardi B. And it's funny because we were just talking about Tip, me and you right now. So it has Ti, Cardi B, and Chance the Rapper, and basically a lot of rappers from all over the country and the world get together and they compete. Some of them are already accomplished rappers, and some of them aren't. But I would love to see Kalon right there because I think he could win easily.
Oh yeah, and I just wanted to say also, people like Funk Flex and Whack 100 that talk crap about Pac and Afeni. I think that they really do that like for attention,
Oh yeah.
because um, you know they're both passed away. Pac's been gone for 23 years. Why would you just disrespect a dead man and
Yeah.
talk about him? So I used to get on Instagram and I would, fight and argue and stuff, but I don't do that anymore. I'm trying to focus on the positive. I
Yeah.
want to focus on positive things, and it's like when they say that stuff, they just need attention, and I don't want to give them any attention anymore, because I want to focus on spark the brain. And I forgot to tell you why we started Spark the Brain. We wanted to do more for Pac and Afeni to honor them than just post pictures all day, because I can post pictures all day, but Pac and Afeni were very giving. They gave so much of their time
Yeah.
and financially, so I didn't feel like I was doing enough to honor them. So that's why we started Spark the Brain, because we wanted to do more for the community in their honor. And
Yeah.
when I presented the check to Nadine for the $2,500, I told her that was in honor of Pac and Afeni from the fans.
Oh wow.
And it's written on the check. This is on there in loving memory of Tupac and Afeni. So what we do is to honor them. We don't need attention. We don't do what we do for attention. And everything that we do, we pay for out of our own money. When I fly somewhere, I pay for it 100% for myself. I've never made a dime off of Pac.
Yeah.
I work 3 jobs. I work 70 hours a week. I pay for everything myself. So everything that's donated to Spark the Brain, 100% goes to the charity that we're raising money for.
That's
I
so
put
awesome.
my own money into it. Yeah. We don't make any money off of it. We're not doing it for attention. We do it from our hearts because we want to do more. We have so much love and respect for them. We want to do more than just post a picture, because anybody can post a picture. We want to do more to honor them. So that's how we honor them, by starting Spark the Brain. And we've got bracelets and everything, and we're going to expand. We've only been doing this for less than a year, so we wanted to grow and get bigger. We're going to do t-shirts and stuff like that, but it just takes time. You got your business at home, and with working and everything and everybody else working, we're just,
Busy.
we're still getting on our feet with the,
Yeah.
you
For sure.
know,
For sure.
so we need more time, but there's not enough time in the day. But like I said, we're building it up and we're getting it out there.
Yeah, and God bless you for that because there's not a lot of people doing that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And you guys, from the foundation, and you always have a home here on Wired Up TV. You guys can always come on here, talk a little bit, chop it up, see what's going on, what's happening. And, thank you for doing the interview. It was an honor.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and thank you for having me, and good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.